listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text the show on 81215, follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, or email the show via the Absolute Radio website, if you please.
Lovely.
Like, if you please.
Well, I think we got to establish it's an option. I don't want anyone thinking it's any sort of legal obligation.
Mandatory.
Yeah.
As they don't say.
I'd like to kick off early, Frank, if I may, with some correspondence.
Oh, you mean... I thought you were going. See ya.
I've had it.
Yeah.
So, firstly, we've had this missive in from Shantazir. Dear Frank, a random shout-out of appreciation prompted by a recent meeting on a London bus. As a relatively recent arrival to the UK, I know you mostly from Taskmaster, but I look forward to learning more about your work. Best wishes.
That's funny.
Now, what I like is the use of best wishes in a tweet.
I like that.
I love that.
I feel slightly crestfallen that you've arrived in the twilight era of my career. What I suggest you need to do is consider my back catalogue. But that's a lovely thing.
That's great. There's a lot of... do you know what? That person is going to have that lovely thrill that you get when you are reading a pacey thriller.
Yeah.
And then you realise that writer is one of those that just knocks them out all the time.
Well, also, never
There's
mind
tons
that.
of them.
I think Consider My Back Catalogue would be a lovely autobiography title for Kim Kardashian, Frank.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on.
No, that's very nice, though. I know your work mainly from Taskmaster. Has it come to this?
A lot of people watch Dave.
No, exactly. They do.
Funny.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
We've also
All
had
right.
Stephen, one for this week's show. I like that he's flagging that up. One for this week's show.
Yeah. In other words, don't sit on it. Thanks.
Yeah, time sensitive.
Whatever happened to Frank? Oh, no, I didn't mean to say that.
That's it.
Just kick him out when he's down.
He's on Taskmaster. Whatever happened to joke shops? Come on. I like
I
that.
haven't seen one for a long time.
Do you get them at the seaside, or have I sort of imagined?
There's still one in Edinburgh. Because my sister and I used to go there, and we used to go to the festival when we were younger.
Oh.
And
What do you buy in it? Is it mainly artificial dog excrement?
Exactly.
That's what I think of as
Which is
the-
great.
we bought that.
Oh,
we
brilliant.
also bought some custard pie foam,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
which I don't know if they'd sell that now.
Any kind of plastic nose and glasses combination?
See that? Oh, you never see that anymore, do you?
Don't
We
see
use that we save that for our spy work.
The trouble
Oh,
with
yeah.
that is spectacles have become quite fashionable.
Right.
Whereas in that, it was like the ultimate humiliation to have to wear glasses. But now, people embrace them. People wear glasses. People probably go
We've all
out
got
in
'em.
those false noses.
Frankie's wearing glasses as he said this, so it's not controversial.
No,
It's just,
I don't want a lot of people
an appraisal of fact.
writing in, unless, of course, they've got their reading glasses.
We bought some plastic cookies. They were useful to trick parents' friends.
Oh,
And
fun.
there used to be those, they were like toffees, but they had pepper in them.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All gone now. What do people do for a joke now?
You can't do the joke
There
shops
isn't
now
any.
because of the health and safety. That's what I think.
Oh, is that what it is?
Safety
Yeah.
gone mad.
Yeah, the hand boss. Someone was probably killed by a hand boss. Thrown 20 feet across the room.
Somebody that had just washed their hands got hand
Oh,
buzzers.
yeah, exactly. I can imagine. It's a complete
Yeah.
new rule wipeout. I can imagine the court case.
Oh,
Oh, man. Carried in on one of those Premier League stretchers. All for a joke. It's I saw an artificial dog poo the other week. I still keep an eye on the market. And very a bit of a development. You know, it hasn't stood still, the artificial dog
Oh, have they
excrement
moved it
market.
on?
One had got quite a bit of sturdy sort of Timberland boot type tread
really?
fitted into it as if someone had previously stood in it.
clever.
They've added an extra dose
Just a
of
little-
realism.
Little bit of authenticity.
That
Yeah,
is
I
clever.
love that, Frank.
yeah. I was pleased. So maybe a comeback's in the offing.
Yeah.
Right.
Should we be talking about this on breakfast?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's fine.
I wish I could think of a more pleasant. What about when you had to look through that tube and when you take it away you got a black rim
that
rotor
was
off?
good.
That was more like it, wasn't it?
Absolute
Absolute
Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We've had an email actually last night, yesterday evening, in fact. Dear Frank, Emily, and Alan.
Yesterday evening.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
choose.
Yeah.
Hopefully the cockerel will pick this up during his Friday night trawl. I trawl through the older emails that we might have got yesterday.
How dare you?
I know you're always on the lookout for traits which can be used to identify early on whether
So they
or
were
not...
going to say trade for a minute. I thought, that's it, they're on to me.
You made two people simultaneously spit their drink out there. Well done.
Oh, it's like
That's
a
like the
70s
jackpot
sitcom.
for a comic, isn't it?
It's like, you're what?
I think that's the nadir of a joke. I once made a person fall backwards off a stool that was... I think they thought it was a backed chair. It was a highly drunk individual, but still.
You must have been so happy, Al.
Oh, man. It was
Was it with a joke or a,
Yeah, it
a,
was just
a throat chop?
It was with some of my performance humour, I like to think.
Good on you.
Anyway, I know you're always on the lookout for... This is the email continuing now, not me. I know you're always on the lookout for traits which can be used to identify early on whether or not someone is a terrible person.
Well, terrible person is harsh, but yes.
Oh, come on.
They add in brackets, and these are examples that you have used: pinky ring, cigar smoker,
Yes.
etc.
Yes.
And this week I was reminded of a particularly awful section of society.
Oh, go on.
People who refer to their cars as she.
Oh,
My
yeah.
car went in for a service this week, and when someone from the garage phoned, they kept saying things like, we got her in for a look, and she could do with new brake pads, and she should be ready on Monday. By the end of the conversation, I was biting my own hand with frustration, and we'll never go back to this garage again. I'm dreading going back to pick the car, as I've no doubt I'll have to
I
endure
love
more
that.
of the same, but this time in person.
Who's
and then
that?
they give us some praise. That's Matt.
I like
Thank
you, Matt. I enjoy
to
that.
be fair, I think there's a West
Oh.
Country thing, isn't there, of referring to inanimate objects as if they're... I can't lift him. I can't. You'll have to take him. I can't lift him. It's all that. If it's like a cupboard or something like that.
So you're suggesting
Oh,
the mechanic
she
might be
for
a
the
yokel,
car.
like
Well,
some
that's
kind of West Country yokel. That's what you did.
But they do.
Yeah.
They do say that. He won't fit. That's lovemaking talk.
Hey. Oh, my
Sorry, I don't know what, sorry. I've had a lot of. Just had some.
heavens to
I've had some
Betsy.
day nurse. It's made me a bit skittish.
Oh, yeah.
He's strung out.
I am.
Are you
He's a
strung
bit
out?
strung
I've
out.
never been strung out except on music.
Frank, I've just thought of my very own whatever happened to.
Oh, go on.
So whatever happened to people blowing on their fingernails and then polishing them on their shirt as a sort of gesture of I'm awesome?
Yeah, I've done something really well, really
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
I remember Bugs
It's
Bunny
not
used to
blowing,
do
it's
it.
breathing, is it? Sort of.
Oh, yeah, it's breathing, yeah. Yeah,
then
it's sort of
polishing
check
that.
out my skills.
In fact, it's so long that I can't even remember what that was a reference to. What was that about?
I don't know what the original. I think it's. You say Bugs Bunny is the sort of
I
character
remember
that
Bugs
would have
Bunny
done it.
doing it.
But I think I've probably done it in
Yeah,
the past.
I'm sure
And
you
you know
have.
what? I'm going to start doing it again all
Me
the time.
too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's.
Why are we not doing that?
What's the point of having lapels? They're crying. They're crying out for it, lapels. I mean, they don't serve any other real purpose other than nail polishing.
Yeah. Exactly.
They love a badge.
And
Don't
Frank,
get me wrong.
Ian says you can't beat a plastic fly in an ice cube from the joke shop.
Oh, yeah.
Hashtag comedy gold.
Yeah, that was good as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I imagine all these things are now online. Oh,
Yeah.
Can you get them online? But when you went into a shop, you could have a proper look.
I don't know if you can. I think they'd worry about accident and being sued and
I'll tell you what I tried the other day.
Trauma.
I hadn't done for a long time. I got the old red fish on the palm of my hand.
Oh, yeah.
oh, fortune teller fish.
Yeah.
Fun.
What do they have?
Passionate for if it completely turns over. It's passionate.
Often the reverse, I find.
I think if the fins, yeah, exactly. If the fins close in,
Oh yeah.
it means you're over clenched in life.
Oh yeah.
Your attitude to life.
Wasn't
is
there
too
false
clenched.
heart as well, Frank? There's
False heart?
False heart. Yeah. False heart or something like that is
what's
one
that?
of the options.
I thought you meant as a joke shop thing. A false heart. So you reach into your shirt and say, "Oh, that's and
That
take
sounds
out
great.
a big chunk of offal. Just go to the butcher's, get a sheep's heart. It looks real. Can you buy them separate, or do you have to buy the whole thing?
No, I think you can buy them.
That's one thing about butchers; they will split one up for you.
Oh,
I had to do that once for Jonathan Ross's This Is Your Life. Someone said, can you go to the butcher's and get a heart for Roland Riveron? He wants to do a joke involving a piece of meat.
Okay.
And it was something to do with the heart, yeah. There you go. I don't know why that just came to me, but it did.
It's to be
Yeah,
good
they're
eating.
there.
Less-
You're not going to save anyone by not using it. It's there now. You might as well have a few laughs out of it before it's in the frying pan.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I was watching the television the other night. Have you ever tried it? It's brilliant.
Oh, yeah.
Tried it. Some of it's patchy in it. Some of it's very good.
Yeah.
And I was watching a
Late
film.
review.
I was watching a film about comedy
Oh yeah.
called Dying Laughing.
Right.
And it was all like, Jerry Seinfeld was on, Gary Shandling, Sarah
Yeah.
Silverman, all these,
That lot.
Never even heard
all
of
the
this
big
film.
American comics. And all in black and white it was.
Oh, yes, they like black and white.
Oh. And
I've never heard him make that noise
so we're
before.
watching it, and it's, it's interesting. They're talking about, comedy.
Yeah.
Right.
Suddenly, I'm on.
Shut the hell up.
Completely, honestly, I sort of went, what? I had to rewind the thing. I couldn't believe it.
What happened? I hope someone didn't come in at that point watching you rewinding yourself on telly and also on a black and white, Frank. Come on.
And I couldn't remember doing it.
I dare say you were straight.
What, did you take part in it?
Yes, I was.
I thought they showed footage
No,
of you.
I was interviewed for it.
All right.
And it was. I mean, one of the nice things about growing old is you get more surprises as the memory goes. I was talking about. I suddenly appeared talking about a desperately bad gig I'd done,
Right.
which, as you may know, is my PhD subject.
Yeah.
Bad gigs. But yeah, I was properly astonished.
Were you good?
I was all right,
Okay.
But
But you can't remember.
Oh, I'm
doing
going to
it.
watch
No.
that.
I think I remember doing it. I'm in a film. I didn't know about it.
Be honest now. Was there a bit of you that was searching your emails, seeing if you'd been paid for it? Is that like
Yeah.
name of program search? Where's my invoice for
It's
that?
weird though. I just don't remember doing it at all. That
Great.
can't be good, can it? I don't drink either. It's like a big mental blank.
Maybe you were strung out on Lemsip or similar.
So anyway, I was watching the new Thor film. Blow me down if I'm not the gatekeeper of Asgard.
Wow.
No, it's never. I mean, that was a weird experience. It
Yeah.
shook me to the
Yeah.
to the core,
Yeah.
to the cause. Anyway, I thought I'd share it with you. Now it's gone. I also, this is a bit more me. I think you'll agree. I did an interview with Saga magazine.
Lovely, Frank. Cover
holiday
girl.
people.
Oh,
You're
my
not
God,
familiar.
cover girl.
Yeah,
They're
you're
going to put him
familiar
on the
with
front
Saga.
with all roses in a bath. That's going to be lovely.
I'm familiar with both sagas as a concept and the
Yes, well,
saga
I mean,
holidays.
my Norse mythology is a bit scant,
Is it?
but I thought I'll go for it.
One of the biggest circulations.
Has it?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have done an interview about Norse mythology. I think that might have been an epic fail.
Oh, very good.
Come on, come
Okay, no,
with me.
we got it. We liked it.
Come with me. No, I'm.
Did you do the interview or have you appeared in it?
It's a magazine for old.
Yes,
old
I'm aware
people.
of what it is.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, did you do the interview last week or were you in it last week?
No, I don't know. I don't take the Saga,
The
Right.
saga.
the Saga magazine. I shouldn't think there's an online copy.
I think there is.
No, the Silver Surfers probably like
Oh,
it.
Well, I
Yeah.
found them on the landline. I thought it just seemed apt.
Yeah, right.
I'm the roving ambassador for Hall's mentholyptus lozenges at the
Are
moment.
you?
That's why they were talking to me. But something happened to me which I hadn't heard for a long time, and it slightly freaked me out.
Yeah.
It kind of freaked me out. I'll tell you about it because the fares has arrived. In case you don't know this show, and it's not like this every week. I'm on day nurse.
That's Frank's assistant affairs.
It's not like it is pretty much like this every week.
I know, but the day nurse, I honestly feel like I'm strong out. But
Thank you very much.
The producer puts a small fares next to me when it's time to shut up.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. And it's been there 5 minutes.
Okay.
There's a cobweb between me and it. So I'm going to shut up.
Skinner, Dean, and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
Oh, I'm afraid we've got a correzione.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Morning, Frank, Emily and Alan. I just have a little correzione spelt with ne, as in horses, Niegh.
Oh, okay.
Correzione. Day nurse is non-drowsy. Adam, ex-healthcare assistant from Chingford.
Yeah, I don't know if it's
my
drowsiness exactly, as all the colours have become very vivid in my life.
Oh, right.
And maybe I've OD'd.
No deed on day nurse, Frank.
I think you can.
We've also had a text from 990 saying of you, worked with them all, forgotten that he's worked with them all. 990.
I forgot I'd work with
Yeah.
me. I'm going to do a correzione. There you go. Day nurse based. It's the first.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm talking to this guy on the landline, and I hear,
The saga guy.
no, I hear,
Yeah. Oh.
now.
Press record.
Well, we used to have what they call, do you know what a party line is?
We've discussed party lines on this show.
Oh,
it's the only way I know about them.
Yeah, and you used to
Yes.
share your phone line with another person. And sometimes you'd be talking and you'd hear them, and it'd be them picking their phone up, and they'd realise that you were on, so they'd put it back down again.
Right.
So I always wait for the second click of them putting it back down again. Our assistant here, who is, what are you, 26? 25. It means a lot when you're 25.
Yeah. Means nothing at
Yeah,
all.
my
our
old
neck of the
concept
woods.
of how old I am is quite fluid. It worried me because there was no second click. It all went a bit John le Carré.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So I wondered if someone was listening to my saga interview. But I thought it might be him taping it, maybe.
Yeah. You didn't
Yeah, he
ask.
might have done that.
Well, I don't they have to ask before they
Well,
do
he
that?
would have had one of those old-fashioned tape recorders, bless him.
Yeah, probably. He didn't sound that old, though.
Did he say, I'm just going to, my name is J.R. Hartley?
You don't have to assume that they might not employ old people. They might have young people working on the magazine for old people.
He sounded like a youngish man.
Right.
But, you know, when I say youngish, I'm talking mid-50s. But youngish there. I could hear a lot of
Right.
coming from people going past. And
Just
Oh, the teeth.
But as you say, it's a massive magazine.
Oh, it's huge. One of the biggest
Oh, yeah.
circulations. Thank you.
Who would have thought that? At a time when circulation becomes so complicated.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
Also...
Frank, sorry to interrupt,
Oh, sorry.
but James Stapleton has just got in touch with some urgent news. I believe they're called the fickle fish of fate.
What? Oh, those
We were talking
fish
about
things.
the fortune teller fish, the red
Ah.
one.
Really?
Yeah.
Because there used to be a thing on Rowan and Martin's Laughing, the popular 1960s American satire show,
Oh, I know, you were on it.
which was the fickle finger of fate. And I wonder if old Stapleton's got a bit confused. I don't think they're called the fickle fish
I
of
think he's
fate,
right.
are they?
No, I'm with Stapleton on
It
this.
might be.
Well, then Rowan and Martin should sue the behinds off the manufacturers.
Well,
of
even
the-
then, I think the fickle finger of fate is a phrase, isn't it? That's quite a well-known.
No, but this was a
phrase.
trophy. I remember it was a trophy that was awarded to people who were victims of the fickle finger of fate.
Okay.
Right.
Well,
I think I'll just have a paracetamol next time. I don't know. I can only apologise. I'll tell you straight. What about this for a grapefruit?
oh, yeah.
Now, I know you might say, well, I see grapefruits
No,
around.
you're
but
so right.
It used to be the very heart of the dieting industry,
Yeah.
Right.
the grapefruit. That was what...
It was the grapefruit diet.
If you cared about your
Lost a
health,
bit of
that's what you
stature,
had for
yeah,
breakfast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Often, often with a glacé cherry in the centre.
Really?
Yeah, which you'd think was flying in the face of the health.
Sometimes a spoonful of brown sugar.
Take that back.
Sprinkled across.
Take that back. No, and did I tell you I was around a mate's house and he had some glacé cherry and we had a look at the box and it said, in the ingredients, it said 54% cherry.
Uh-huh.
What do you make of that?
I reckon the rest
Probably
is
cherries in the box.
I reckon the rest is stone and sugar.
No, there's no stones.
No stones.
Pitted. 54% cherry.
Hang on, I'm going to have to recalibrate now. I know it's pitted.
Oh.
Sorry, I'm just saying anything now.
Put the music on.
Again, that's every week.
Anything's just coming out.
I'd say that's
I'm not well.
this is the MO. That's what we do.
Is this the MO?
MO. Modus
He's
operandi.
confused
No, I know
now.
what that
He's
means.
actually confused.
Now
I
he's
am.
getting defensive.
I've reached a state. I need to do a joke. Here's a joke.
Here, go on.
Noel Coward, nice bloke, but terrified of Christmas.
Frank Skinner.
On Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
We've had a text from 990 saying MO equals modus operandi, my idiotic eureka moment.
Oh.
Which I take a lot of pleasure from that because it was me that said it just moments ago.
No one was
Yeah.
suggesting it wasn't you, said he.
If I can't be funny, I do like to be informative. That's always been my
I'd kill
motto.
for either this morning. It's all gone a bit Capital Radio for me, I'm afraid.
Don't talk yourself out of the game.
No,
Come
I'll
on.
keep going.
Yeah.
What struck me about the grapefruit is, do you remember when I was talking about if I had a greengrocer's and calling it the Apple store?
Oh, yeah.
It meant all the trouble I'd get into with the big corporations.
Yeah.
When the grapefruit come out, wasn't the grape people,
When it
didn't they
came.
think, hold on a minute, we've already got a fruit. A grape is a fruit.
Right. There should have been some
What do you
kind
mean
of
a
copyright.
grapefruit? What are you getting at?
Yeah.
What's the grape element?
You raise a very good
You're
point.
so,
Yeah.
It's so true.
Why has nobody ever noticed that before, that it's got the name of a fruit in it?
Yeah.
And then fruit.
I believe it was Harry Hill who said hamburger, beef does all the work, ham gets all the credit.
Yeah.
Similarly for the grapefruit.
Why even bring up the grape?
Yeah.
They're just trying to get in on somebody else's.
Or do they think it
Good
sounds a
enough.
bit decadent and Roman and a bit more enjoyable?
When the Sharon fruit came out, I don't imagine there was like
Shazza fruit.
when there was a meeting and they were going, oh, we're going to call it the apple fruit, I imagine people went, no, we can't. There's already an apple fruit. And
Yeah.
this is, why didn't
No.
the great people get motivated and get,
Yeah.
I would
They're thieves.
absolutely. I would sue them.
yeah.
I would pursue the grapefruit people and say we are a fruit, the grape. People are going to go and say, get us some grapes here, come back with a grapefruit.
Yeah,
I can't believe it's been allowed to happen.
you're right. You raised some very good points,
Thank
Alan.
Yeah.
you. Thanks very much.
The people doing the PR for grapes, what are they up to?
Well, they're doing. The trouble is they've based their attack very much on the medical market,
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
and I think that puts people off them.
Yeah.
You
And they
see, somebody gets me grapes though, and I think, but they've got a
Wow.
bit of MRSA on them.
Yeah.
Also, they were working a lot in the Roman Empire,
Oh,
and
yeah.
now they've given up.
Exactly. You never see anyone. Never said peel a grapefruit
No,
for me, and they need peeling.
they do.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner. On Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. Text the show on 8 12 15. Lots of people have this morning. Trying to help me out a bit. Follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio. Email the show via the Absolute Radio webo.
You've lit up the switchboard with your grapefruit chat.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
For
is
nothing.
it the grape people, the grapes legal people?
No?
Well, we know why they've become less popular because Steve Brooks from Stratford-upon-Avon has told us.
Go on then.
Okay. Hi, guys. That's not very Stratford-upon-Avon. Hi, guys. Did Shakespeare say that? The
What about those people who say Stratford upon Avon? You know?
Do they?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know those people.
Yeah.
And I'm going to keep it that way.
No, I think you should.
The reason that grapefruit has become less popular is that so many people are now taking statins for high cholesterol. If you take statins, you're advised not to eat grapefruit as it can cause severe cramps. Keep it light, Steve.
Wow, severe cramps.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, what are statins?
They're
You take them to take your cholesterol levels down, I believe.
something like that.
That's a
yeah.
bit easier than not eating loads of fatty food, isn't it?
Although there's apparently there's a bit of debate as to whether or not cholesterol's as bad as
But
the.
is there anything about which there is not a bit of debate? That's what makes life interesting.
And 848 has said, in non-grapefruit related news, hi Frank and the gang, whatever happened to mooning? Regards, that's Henna's from Gravesend. Henna's is one of our regulars now.
Quite
Oh,
a
okay.
shift in tone
Yeah.
from statins
Oh,
to mooning.
It's true, though.
Although
It used to be-
grapefruit's to mooning in many
It
ways.
used to be quite a big thing, mooning, didn't
It did.
It's probably just as well it's gone.
I can't
I'm not
remember
sure
the
about
last
the
time I-
hygiene aspects.
Can't remember the last time I partook. Emily?
I don't
No.
know if I...
Frank?
I don't wish to
remember
discuss this on
if
air.
I've ever mooned.
Don't believe you.
No, it's difficult. in
Mind you,
my-
you can't even remember television programmes you've been on, so you're
No,
a terrible
exactly. Well,
source.
come to think of it, I mooned on that show.
I don't think it's something that the ladies do. I don't think I've ever mooned.
I remember there was a Manchester comedian who was he was very new, wasn't getting much paid work, and he did this joke about he had crop circles drawn on his buttocks, and I saw him do a gig, and he dropped his trousers and turned around and gave that as the punchline, and he got no laugh, and he stayed down for about 30 seconds, and there was something glinting. I'll never know what that was. But he just stayed there, stayed as if he was sort of,
Oh,
drying out. It was a
I think that's
really
your
weird,
answer.
terrible...
That's your glinting answer.
And suddenly he's interviewed in Dying Laughing.
oh yeah.
I don't remember what... It was one of those that the punchline didn't quite make sense. But then he thought if I stay here long enough, they'll work it out.
Yeah.
But of course, we were all appalled.
The Frank Skinner Show. Listen live every Saturday morning from 8 on Absolute Radio.
You're eating a bit of food, aren't you, sir?
No,
I'll tell you about.
I'm not. Take that back.
You don't like it when I flag it up, but I think we've got an honesty policy on this show.
Okay, you're right.
You were.
I had a crisp, all right?
Wow, what about this 716? Frank Stunner. Good morning from South America. First time listener. They then
Wow.
had some praise, which has been. I think they meant Frank Skinner.
I think they did.
Or they're
but,
calling you a stunner.
but what a lovely.
Frank Stunner.
Frank Stoner would have been all right as a stage name. It's too late now to change.
It's better than Wes Bromwich that
Well.
you mooted last week.
It'd have been a good name if I'd worked in an abattoir.
You say it's too late, but for your Taskmaster audience,
Oh, yeah.
who aren't as familiar with the
Oh,
Kim
yeah.
Kardashian back catalogue,
Perhaps it's
Frank
time to
Stunner's-
just start all over again. Do a PDD.
Yeah.
Lovely. Lovely. We've got some Christmas news this week.
Oh, good.
yeah,
I don't know if she's a friend of the show yet, but she might be in the future. Zoella, Sarah that works on the show, just frowned at the idea. I like Zoella.
Zoella, we should
All right,
say,
mate.
is
It's
one of
a-
them internet sensations.
She's a YouTuber. She's a YouTuber. And,
What kind of hits are we talking about?
well, the only clip I've ever seen of her, she was discussing a bath mat that she'd bought
Okay.
in...
Non-slip.
It was
Yeah.
a sort of a terry toweling-y thing, and she just
I
discussed
imagine
it.
she's got one of those towels with those baths with the swinging doors.
yes.
I imagine so. I think she's an uncomplicated social media presence. I don't think there's a side to it.
She's
It's
got
pretty
11.8 million
straightforward stuff.
followers on Twitter.
11.8 million. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, respect to Munda.
Yeah.
Just a bit more than... Yeah, it's quite a lot. But anyway,
That's tremendous.
she's...
Charles Manson only had about 40. I mean, tops, when he was at his peak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were more motivated than
Charles
hers,
Bronson,
so-
I think, chooses not to be on it.
That's true, yeah.
Charles Bronson, the
He might-
Yes.
He
Yeah,
might not
but
be
I think he
allowed.
would have lots as well. So, we all get
But
there using
she's-
different means. fame.
Even in internet sensation world, Zoella is mega, isn't she?
Massive,
She is.
yeah,
She's
yeah,
the original.
Yeah, and the best.
What would you say was the
Calm down,
secret?
dear.
What's the secret
I thought
of
that was
her
the
success?
Coca-Cola thing, the original and the best.
Well,
what's
she
done
does
it
a lot
for
of
Zoella?
videos from. She does it with her husband. She does a
Oh,
lot
she's
of videos.
married?
Yeah, I believe so. Are they No, maybe they just live together.
Oh, what?
They live under the brush, I
Zoe-
believe your
over
mother.
the-
would-
over
over
the
the brush. That's what your mother called it.
Zoella's living over the brush.
Oh,
I thought her thing was that she's like squeaky clean, isn't
Oh, she is. But they do lots of, hi guys, we're just going to make some Brussels sprouts together. So we put the water on.
oh, it's all
that sort of thing.
It's very theatre of the mundane, which
Yeah.
you can imagine me watching.
Yeah, I kind of-
YouTube once suggested to me that I watch a man showing me around his lorry cabin. So, this is the sort
Well,
of
they
stuff
suggested that to me, but
this
for
is
different
the sort of
reasons.
stuff I thrive on.
Lorry
always-
cabin. Does he
Yeah.
say, hi guys, I've got the articulated...
It was literally just a bloke showing us around the cabin, and in this
lorry
cupboard here,
YouTuber.
I keep the kettle, and that was it. That was all it was. But that, based on my previous stuff that I've watched,
Did he-
YouTube thinks
Oh.
Alan will like this.
Did he show you? And then on the front, of course, the frontispiece is the grubby teddy bear.
Exactly.
Yeah, or the Michelin Man.
Yeah.
With all that kind of stuff. So, Zoella saying, oh, here's a bath mat, or this is how to boil the kettle.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Right up my straws,
I
as
know,
they say.
I respect to her. I think the talented people have had their own way long enough.
Exactly.
It's a bad time the whole thing was opened up. And it's just like an absolute competition winner. Could be anybody.
Yeah.
We haven't even talked
Amazing.
about what she's done yet. Oh, it's going to have
No,
to
but
be
I
next.
mean, I think a lot of our listeners, and I'm saying this because I have tremendous respect for them, might not know who she is.
Yeah.
Yes.
And she will come on and say, here's my new bath mat, and get 9 million hits.
Yeah.
So there you go, guys.
That's pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
Why didn't I think all those years writing jokes?
And you could have been Frank Stunner with your own YouTube channel.
Frank Stunner, yeah. But get your, I've just had a new tea towel holder. Yeah, there you go. About that. And then I could do a joke one when it was you pull the wall away and it's just a boxer dog.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
You've tickled me there, Frank. Just the thing you said.
We can't say what he said. Alan Frank
Alan Frank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
is doing something extraordinary with his
Often.
coffee cup.
Oh, yeah. I've perched my coffee cup onto the lid of my coffee cup because Emily Dean recommended it as a possibility.
Well,
Okay.
not my words, but the words of Dave Mutton.
Dave Mutton.
Dave Mutton.
Yeah, good
dressed
friends with George Lamb.
Yeah.
An idiotic.
Poor old Dave Mutton. If he's called Dave Mutton, must have had that all his life.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Luckily, he's a bit mutton.
An idiotic eureka moment for Alan's Friday night trawl. This week I learned that the lids of disposable coffee cups can be removed and used as a coaster. The base of the cup slots in perfectly.
Yeah.
I'm just doing it now. It does. It fits a treat. It gives it like a little stand. It looks a
Nice.
bit
It's on a
like
plinth, isn't it?
Well,
like the World Cup or something.
I won't
World
do
Cup.
that, Dave Mutton, because I like the slightly New York busy lady on the go vibe of drinking through the spout.
Oh, okay.
Okay, thank you.
That's how we all turned plastic.
I'm always a bit put off.
Speak for yourself.
People when I see them in the street with the big cup.
Oh, yeah.
Are you?
Yeah, I just
Getting
think
ridiculous
you
now,
don't need that.
Two-handed, some of them. They're enormous.
You think you need it, but you don't. It's always Brittany. Brittany always has a big drink.
Does she?
Well, she favours the...
Spots and a big drink. That's how I think of Brittany off.
and an umbrella, Ella.
I don't
would say
like-
she favours... Sorry, Al, but I have to get this
Yeah,
in.
go on.
I would say she favours the Frappuccino, the cold version.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, that's probably where the spots came from.
Even more disgusting. I don't understand these celebrities that you see in LA, pictured in the Daily Mail, buying coffee in their workout gear. Why aren't they getting changed at the gym? What's their problem?
Well,
Just put it in a little bag and get changed at the gym or shower at the gym and then go for coffee. You don't need to... Who wants to sit next to someone that reeks after a workout in
Well, no,
Starbucks?
I think you'll find leisure wear has changed. It's now, I think you'll find it's called Sports Luxe, that look. Thank you.
Oh, I don't know any
As you were.
sports looks.
No, I can see that. Meanwhile, hi guys,
All right, we're back at Zoella,
Zoella Towers.
who I approve of. But yes, she got in a bit of trouble.
Just like him. I mean, just like him.
Someone do a David Bellamy impression, come on.
Hey, that's my whole repertoire.
So here we are in the most fabulous
good.
undergrowth, stretching for miles.
Excellent.
Now we have to do Prince Charles. Oh, my wife, no.
Team show.
Yeah,
We all did one.
okay.
She released I nearly said a Christmas advent calendar there, but I mean an advent calendar for
Well,
the Christmas market.
Got to stop you there.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Was it an advent calendar?
Well, this is where she got in a bit of trouble, isn't it? Because it only had 12 items in it.
12
So-
windows.
12 windows, yeah.
days. So
And I don't think it was a historical reference to the window tax from Georgian times.
No.
well, they've put a twist on it to save a little bit of money. They've called it the 12 Days of Christmas calendar, which, as we all know, follows Christmas. Even
Yes.
a heathen like me knows this.
Right.
And the Advent, Frank, I'll go over to our religious expert,
Well, that's
is the expectant time before Christmas,
it's 4
presumably.
weeks. It's the 4 starts with it's 4 Sundays basically.
Right.
So the last one being like the Christmas week thing. So it's the 4 weeks roughly before Christmas.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks to our
idea-
religious correspondent,
So
Frank
it's,
Stunner.
so it's not an advent calendar.
No.
Make that clear. It's the 12 days of Christmas, which is, as you say, it makes more sense in a way. So if you buy
Yeah.
someone for Christmas,
Yeah.
then they can open a thing every day.
I mean, it had other problems as a product.
Yeah, it's 50 quid.
It was 50 quid. And the total contents of it were worth 25. That was...
They've halved the price now.
Yeah, so
because
now
there's been
it's-
such an outrage
I mean,
over
now
it.
you could buy it and say I got it for
50
cost.
Did you see some of the contents?
Well, there's 3 cookie cutters for a starter.
Yeah.
I mean,
A gingerbread
that's
man, a
biscuit.
star and an angel.
That's if you're making biscuits.
Yeah.
So
who's-
there's only 12. If there's 12 things, you don't want 3 of them to be the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
That is...
Put
But what
chisel.
about-
What about a chisel for the Boxing Day?
Can you imagine Frank's advent calendar?
It's not an advent calendar.
Oh,
It's not an
calm
advent
down,
calendar,
dear.
you're absolutely right.
Embarrassing yourself.
It reminded me of that time. Do you remember for years, I don't even know if you know this about me, I'm pretty sure we talked about it on the show, but I usually buy a pen and paper diary, like an old school diary, not in my phone, 99 pence. Get it from a pound shop every year, 99 pence. And I think
You,
the
you
first year...
shout them down to 99.
yeah, exactly. Got to have a haggle. I think the first year I joined this show, we got to a week where it wasn't in my diary.
Yeah.
It was just missing. There was a page. So I was thinking maybe she's just lost a few.
Yeah.
It could just be a clerical error and they've rolled with it.
Well,
They
I
just
mean,
thought, let's go with it.
she said she's been working on it for a year. She honestly said that. I mean,
it's
that
nice to meet
is
someone whose output is lower than mine. That is
unbelievable. She's been working, not even an advent calendar, but she's been working on a 12-window Christmas calendar for a year.
That's a month a window.
We were talking this, I think Muriel Spark wrote The Prime of Miss Jean Brodie in a month.
Remains of the day in 5 weeks.
Yeah, Zoella, a year, imagine that. Zoella, you're coming out tonight. I can't. The Christmas calendar thing. What, Advent? No. 12 days. It's going to be Advent, but in a year I can't get them all in. I can't come out. I'm absolutely flat out with a calendar. I mean, 3. Well, why don't you make it easy for yourself? Have 3 of the thing. Have 25% of the gifts the same thing. That would give me a bit of leeway.
Give
You're
you
right.
3 months
I
off
feel
that.
bad about that, though. I might have to take it down from the 100 quid to the 50 quid I had in mind. Goodness me. I mean, I don't want to, I'm sure she's a lovely young woman. But get help if you can't knock that out in a year.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So we're talking about Zoella in the calendar.
Yeah.
We've already established that some of the contents, people were suggesting that perhaps it was a little bit tight, wasn't it? The glitter confetti, 3 cookie cutters, some tangerine room spray.
Tangerine room spray.
And 7 stickers.
It was either called tangerine or clementine. Christmas clementine room spray, but...
Yeah.
I mean...
But what does that mean, room spray?
Well...
Does that mean, is that a toilet thing?
No, I think it's to make your room smell Christmassy, but...
Yeah, but isn't it,
Opening a clementine, just eat one. Then you get the associated vitamin C. I just get fed up of all this fakery, Frank.
Oh, come on, calm down.
Just eat one of those little easy peelers instead of having a spray for it.
I am fascinated by the whole world of this person.
Are you?
Are you?
It makes me wonder about the theory of evolution. Shouldn't we keep improving humankind?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I misread it.
I think Darwinian logic is that if it's preferred, it might not be the best one, but you just get it. That's what happens. If you select for it, then I don't know. I'm not a scientist.
Well, I watched her video in which she endeavoured to explain the £50 price tag.
And what did you think
Christmas.
of her?
Well, she said, I didn't. I made it. I'm sweating away for a year. Cut to a picture of her in a boiler suit, a pair of scissors, cutting one of the doors, and
assembling the glitter confetti.
Yeah, and, confetti. Not
she said, it's not up to me how much they charge for it.
Right.
So I had no idea it was going to be 50 quid.
Are we buying what she's selling?
I was starting to think, shut your face. And then she got a little bit teary, and I started to think, it's a young girl at the end of the day. How old Zoella would you say?
I think 23.
58?
Yeah, she's a young girl.
I don't think she's.
She started to get a bit teary, and she said there are people who are saying I'm just in it for the money.
Mm.
And
how dare they?
That's not who I am, she said. And she got a bit. And then I thought, lay off.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that's not why she's in it. So why is Zoella in it? 8, 12, 15. What does Zoella want?
8, 12, 15.
Okay. There's no creative satisfaction, presumably.
You don't think?
Well, I haven't had a good look at the Christmas calendar.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's not a wondrous structure.
No.
I imagine it's cardboard.
Anyway, we should say, if anyone's... I don't want to put anyone off buying it. They've
halved the price now.
They've slashed the price.
And you can get Zoella's tears in one of the doors.
That'd be...
Apparently.
That'd be great.
Actual
An actual
tears.
Canister of her tears.
Yeah.
Oh.
You could probably...
People queuing up like
if you
lords.
had one of those book of spells, there's something pretty marvellous with Zoella's tears, I bet. Don't you think?
Tears of Zoella, yeah.
I bet I could probably make myself younger or something if I rubbed them into my... that bit at the base of your spine that's a bit hairier than the rest of your back.
Yes.
If you rubbed it into there, wake up the next day, I'd look like
young
Richard Bacon.
Oh, Richard Bacon.
Yeah, when I woke up the next day. Yeah. In Hammer films, often they had the blood of virgins and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think the tears of an internet sensation, which I think was a popular Smokey Robinson hit. She could probably sell her tears, couldn't she?
Oh, she definitely could.
Wow, just imagine that.
Yeah, just chop a few onions, make a few quid.
I've got you some... I've got you some... what is it? Small file? Yeah, Zoella tears. You all right with that? That's fantastic. It's one of those presents you wouldn't buy yourself. That's what I thought. Yeah. You should watch the video. It's more moving than you might imagine it would be.
I will.
You're listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
We've had a bit of feedback on the Zoella discussion from Julie in Oldbury. Loving the Zoella discussion, much to my 11-year-old daughter's disgust.
Oh, of course, you'll be loving it.
Hilarious, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you went sympathetic towards the end when we talked to the tears.
You know,
Yeah.
judging by the price of her other tats, she's most definitely in it for the money.
Oh, that's
Dear.
that's not quite so nuanced.
No,
Yeah.
but you know,
What is her other tat? What else has she got on the
I
market?
believe
yeah?
Well-
she says, have you seen the reviews of their Hello World show? So there must be a show.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What, they tour, so Ella?
That'd be good, wouldn't
They
it?
say, hi guys.
We're due an outing, aren't we? As a show.
We are? Yeah, let's go and see Hello World.
We could toss a coin between seeing Zoella's show or finding that bloke showing people around his lorry.
I would love to
Oh,
see
good,
that.
watch
When you
that.
say finding that bloke, I thought you'd come across some missing person. Going to that for a works outing.
Did the man showing you around his lorry?
Last thing
Yeah.
in Western Supermare. We can have a look.
Did he have anything in the lorry?
No,
I
it was like, this is
Not
where I
even a
sleep when I'm...
pennant.
Oh, I think he had bits and bobs.
A pennant?
Various
Often they have
A
like
Jermaine,
a
as I call them.
football club pennant.
Aston Villa or something.
Or the Cross of St George on the back of the
Yeah.
car.
Right, yeah. No, I think it was...
It was just an
it was
empty
pretty
lorry.
Spartan in there.
Might not even have been his.
No, I think it was his, but I think he was a
All
man
right.
of few
Defending
material
it.
needs.
Frank Skinner.
On Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
It's now time for about 4 weeks, Frank, of Attack Upon Christmas news.
Yes.
Yeah.
It begins now, and it begins in great style. I mean, this is a yearly tradition, the Attack Upon Christmas news, isn't it?
Yeah.
Greggs have had to apologise for putting a sausage roll in a
They put a
nativity
sausage
scene,
roll in the baby Jesus crib.
Yes.
and they've had to say sorry.
So they've got the three wise men gathered around a sausage roll.
Yeah.
In a
Yeah.
manger.
In the manger.
It was
No one puts a sausage roll in the manger.
no.
Yeah,
It's a
everyone
line
knows that.
from Dirty Dancing.
Yeah.
What about
Dirty
when Daisy,
Dancing.
the producer, asked Frank if he'd seen it earlier? He went, no. He's never seen Dirty Dancing.
It's
I mean, it's an attack upon
What?
Christmas.
it looks
isn't
it looks
I think
pretty
it's-
pretty manger.
Oh.
Very good.
That's
But-
why he gets the big bucks.
They've missed the trick, haven't they?
Yeah, they have
It's a
to.
manger.
What did you think of the sausage roll in the manger?
Well,
I hope you're going to use the phrase "attack upon Christmas."
I wasn't happy with it really.
weren't you?
What?
But
Why?
I'm not. I
understand.
sort of. I wasn't. I refuse to be offended now because the offended are such a dull section of society.
Right.
Ever expanding. People's getting offended by something every day of the week. Oh, well,
Yeah.
so what?
You're right.
Don't even tell us.
This is great, Frank. This is a really secular approach that you're
Yeah.
taking to this. Love it.
I did think if you consider that Jesus is Jewish, the sausage roll substitute was brave.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
As well as an attack on,
but the Christians are all right with the meat of a pig, aren't they? They're fine with it, aren't they?
Look, I'll tell you one thing about the Christians. In the old days, we used to kill people who crossed us. And I'm glad we've stopped doing that.
Yes.
I'm happy about that. So let them get the sausage roll in the manger if it makes them happy.
Not with a
Honor.
bite. Not with a bite out of it.
100% agree, though. Let them have the sausage roll in
But I
there.
shouldn't think you get too many wise men in Greggs. It is fair to say the engine room of the National Obesity Crisis.
I mean, is it fair to say? I think our lawyers
think-
are probably looking at
Well,
that.
they should
even
have.
as-
You know
I
what? They
think
can
they
have
should
that.
use that as their
They can have
slogan.
it. That's
Yeah.
their strap line.
Yeah, they could lose the manger, get the engine room.
Yeah.
Stuff on there. And I think people would come a flocking.
That's their elastic strap line.
Frank Skinner.
On Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. Text the show on 81215. Follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio or email the show via the Absolute Radio website. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
So we're still discussing the attack upon Christmas. That is the Greggs sausage roll thing. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I don't really, and you know, I'm not from your corner of the faith spectrum.
No.
No.
But it is a bit hit and miss, the outrage, isn't it? Because to me, putting the sausage roll in the place of Jesus in the nativity scene is less offensive than hot cross buns, which are a confectionery depiction of the crucifix, aren't they?
Is that offensive?
Well, I think it would be if I took it all seriously. I'd be finding that quite... Like,
That's
that's a
all gone a bit
cake.
Peston on Sunday.
That's a
here.
cake version of the crucifixion, isn't it? Like, surely that's outrageous. But Greg's will sell
in that
them
way,
with-
you're going to turn against donkeys.
Yeah.
Well, what about the
Spot
gold?
the ball wouldn't be allowed anymore. I mean, you can't get rid of the cross completely.
And what I objected to was the nonsensical nature of the narrative. Because you
What,
don't
of
bring
Christianity?
gold, frankincense and myrrh to a sausage roll.
No.
They're not going to appreciate it.
You bring mutar.
Exactly.
would be
Bit of
a-
Some
Dijon
sort of
there.
condiment.
Yeah, something like that. Ketchup or...
Don't go, here's myrrh. Don't put myrrh in the manger.
no.
No.
Well, you do put myrrh in the manger. You don't put it in the manger if there's a sausage roll there. Anyway.
Nobody puts myrrh on a sausage roll. Myrrh is, I believe, it's ointment to embalm the dead.
Is it?
I suppose there are dead animals in a sausage roll.
True.
Never think about that, do you?
What about
Get your
frankincense?
animals. Sure, that roasted or boiled. I'll have it embalmed, actually.
Oh, thanks.
Can you embalm me a pig? Just for Christmas.
Has anyone
Could
ever
you eat it? A balmy
No.
food, I imagine, is a bit
Oh.
salty.
No, it would be. It'd be wrong.
No,
I think.
Frank. Frank, has any publisher or anyone in your life ever suggested you produce some sort of product called frankincense
Oh yeah.
and attempted to make some sort of pun out of it?
Well, maybe I'll do if I charge it 50 quid. 50 quid. Spend a year thinking about it.
Yeah.
What you could do is like rants, like a ranty comic.
Yes.
No, I'll bring out some
Frank's incensed.
Frank's incense.
Yeah, or I could just bring out some incense.
Frank's
that I've
incense.
sort of
Oh,
put
yeah.
together, my own
With
fragrance.
a sort of Birmingham smells on it.
Oh yeah.
Bullring Shopping Centre fragrance.
When a Catholic celebrity says they're bringing out their own fragrance, they mean incense, not perfume.
But I
Indeed.
did like, on this Christmas topic, I
attack
did
upon
like the
Christmas.
sound...
You've actually bought a Christmas topic. Looks lovely.
I did like the sound of the Christmas pizza.
Yes.
Did you hear? It's from Asda. It has Brussels sprouts, potatoes, roast chicken, etc., etc. I've got to tell you, I loved the look of it.
Carby.
Have they stolen the idea of the Frank roast dinner crisps? Remember that?
I do.
Oh yeah.
I do.
I had my own flavour of crisps.
I remember
for,
that.
for a brief period of time, based on the roast dinner. But I'm all right with it.
Yeah.
It did look nice, the Christmas dinner
I think
pizza.
so.
I gotta say, that could be the Christmas out, and we all go out and get one of those. Well, they're from Asda.
Oh, because that's not depressing. Is that our Christmas outing? How depressing. $2.60
We get to
for
Asda.
10-inch pizza.
That's all right, isn't
Is
it?
that
Yeah.
how much it is?
Yeah, doesn't get better than that.
50 quid for a Christmas calendar. £2.60 for a...
Yeah.
I'm not sure they're either or purchases. Though.
See what's great
Somebody's
about it.
weighing them up.
If you've got someone imprisoned in a cupboard
Yeah.
in your house, which a lot of, I mean, I know it's not talked about, but a lot of people have.
A lot of our listenership.
At Christmas, you can just put the pizza under the door. You don't even have to open the door.
Yeah, you couldn't
Put
do that
that
with
on
a
there.
Christmas dinner, could you?
Well, I appreciate I sighed there in a rather world-weary
did,
fashion.
yeah.
And I
Oh,
think
this again.
I think
Peston
morale.
on Sunday's back.
I think morale is everything when it comes to domestic imprisonment. You keep their spirits up by all means.
Oh,
And as a
pizza would
side,
do
you could
that.
have some of Greg's lovely pre-sim blankets. Beautiful.
Skinner, Dean, and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
Can we talk about Victoria Beckham, please?
Always.
Firstly, she bumped me off my dining table last night.
She did
I
what?
can't go into too many details, but I'm just saying.
She bumped you off
I was
your
at a
dining-
dinner with friends,
Oh, yeah.
and we had to move to another table.
Because of
Really?
Phoebe.
Because-
Yes. She wasn't coming, and then she was.
Oh,
So there you go. Producer loves that little bit of
That's a-
intel there.
that
Anyway,
was probably a good restaurant though.
yes, it was.
But how do
If
you
that's
mean they
the-
bumped you off your table?
So what happens is
Basically-
they seat you because they thought she wasn't coming, I think, is what happened.
Yeah.
And then they had to come over and apologise and say, I'm sorry, she is coming now, which is why they gave us the table. So could you please move? Because there were fewer of us than her party.
I was at the Brits once, and I was talking to Lennox Lewis and Michelle Gale and a couple of other people. And
Keep the celebs...
Work with them all.
keep the celebs A-list, love.
Forgotten he's worked with them all.
and this bloke come over and said, Miss Campbell has asked if you would move to another table so she could come here with her friends. I looked up and Naomi Campbell's there with a bunch of... I said, we'll all get on here. Be all right. He said, no, she doesn't want to share with anyone.
Oh, no.
I said, mate, it's the heavyweight champion of the world. You think he's going to move? And he said, I said, you're not moving.
Good.
I said, no.
I love it when you stand up for Lennox.
No, I just thought it was proper rude. Michelle Gale as well.
Yeah.
To be fair to VB, I don't think she knew this was going
No,
on.
well,
behind the scenes.
anyway, Naomi went home when we wouldn't move.
Excellent. That's a good outcome to the story.
It surprised me because her reputation is usually of being a kind, warm-hearted woman.
Anyway, she...
Beautiful, they can't get around it.
VB... She did this thing, I think it was this week this happened. She was charging fans for her fashion advice. She wasn't really charging.
Love
the money
it.
went to charity.
Oh, did it?
I believe so.
I
Eventually,
did
but
not
it
know.
sounded
Yeah.
like that was an afterthought.
Yeah.
That she's, at the end, the bloke said, what should we do with the money? It's $2 for a piece of
Yeah,
advice.
a piece of fashion advice.
And she said, oh, let's give it to charity. As if there was
Yeah.
a moment when she was going to keep it.
She was going to
Yeah.
pocket it.
That would have been brilliant.
She
if she'd
probably
have done that, I would have been
yeah,
so...
respect.
Yeah.
If she'd kept it.
If she'd made like $60 and thought, oh, I'm having that.
I bet she did some back of the envelope maths and thought, oh, once you take out 50% for tax, oh, you may as well just give it to charity. I can't be bothered with the working out.
It's too much
That's
workings out.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to cost them more in time.
But she appeared live via iPad,
Yeah.
like the Great Oz on the screen.
Huh?
Yeah, in the manner of the Great Oz.
And this was in Central Park, was it not?
Yes. And she was very nice to people. I mean, people came up and they queued for fashion advice.
Well, apparently
didn't
they didn't at first.
Oh,
at
yeah.
first
Oh, really?
people
Yeah.
weren't sure about
They were
it.
nervous.
Oh, like
And
when
she
they give out
started
free
saying-
money in the street
It
on
says
prank
that
shows.
She started saying, come on, you need advice, don't be shy.
Excellent.
In a sort of babe watch.
I was going to
You
say
know, when
more
they
like...
waggle the phone and go, come on, guys.
I don't
Call
know.
me.
I thought
Yeah,
it was
no.
also
Don't know
a
what you're
bit
talking
Delia
about.
Smith trying to inspire the troops
Let's
a
be
bit.
having you.
Yeah.
But she was nice to people. She told one man to keep his man bun. She said
Did
it's
she?
super flattering.
To himself.
She liked the word super. I think that seems to be one of her favourite words. But I didn't like because he took it down. He said, well, what do you think? And he looked a bit like Cherie Blair when he took the hair down. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying that's what he looked like.
But she told him to keep it up. So
Yeah.
she was sort of giving him the right advice, but in a positive way. Rather than
Yeah.
saying it looks bad when it's down, she
Yeah.
was saying, keep the man bun. Good
She
for
was
her.
positive.
Yeah, she seems quite positive.
I think she's probably all right,
Yeah.
contrary
I do.
to all the...
Yeah, I liked some of her
I
advice
liked her
as well.
in Spice the movie.
Did you?
Yeah. I thought she was funny in that.
I think she is probably.
I like
Her
the look of her.
insistence, on keeping with the heels and all that sort of
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
She did give advice of when someone said, what do I wear when it's cold? And she did say, wear a coat.
I loved that advice.
That
Yeah.
is,
It was,
yeah.
as I believe they say in The Devil Wears Prada, groundbreaking.
No,
But that was a good one. What shoes do you wear with culottes? I think we've all seen that go wrong.
Yeah.
I thought that was a good piece of advice.
When I wear culottes, I wear those, the shoes with 5 toes. I wear those. Is that wrong? Or is
You
that...
wear a croc with your culottes.
Yeah.
I usually go sans culottes.
All right.
Do you know that the sans culottes were a revolutionary group? Yes. I like a culotte, but I don't think a man can wear one, can they?
Oh.
Well,
all
they
changed.
look a bit what you always refer to as 90s England supporter.
Yeah, they have got that. They're at that level.
It's all
With the
up for
backless
grabs
trainer.
now.
And
It's all
that,
up
they
for
often
grabs.
wear them with a white slip-on trainer.
I know they do, Frank. I know.
We are talking about a woman whose husband has worn a sarong in the past, so let's not get too...
Don't knock David.
I'm not.
I'll tell you
I'll be
something.
having you.
David.
I'll tell you something that I don't like. Black shoes with blue jeans.
Let me have a think about that. You are absolutely right.
100% right.
I'm afraid.
Male and female.
Oh,
Well, this is a bit awkward.
controversial.
Why, have you got them now?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, I think of it as a bit Delolio.
it is a bit. Oh, that's not a bad thing in my book. No, you're right. It should really be brown. A brown shoe
Yes.
with a jean.
Oh, yes. Come here for your fashion advice, ladies and gentlemen.
$2.
I've got 2 jumpers on today. That's how cold I am.
Oh.
And the one underneath this has got moth holes.
Oh.
My fashion advice to everyone,
that.
if I could give you one piece of advice, it's say goodbye to linen. No good will come of it.
Linen.
Yeah. And I'm afraid it creases terribly and it's a little bit John Sargent.
What if there's a bloke who's married to a woman called Lynn and he heard you say goodbye to Lynn and then just the radio crackled? You might have ruined a perfectly
When
happy
has someone
marriage.
worn
there.
linen and you thought, wow, that's a showstopper?
Maybe if I've been in an Egyptian cafe and a fat Englishman has come in a linen suit and fedora, and I've just had like a nightshirt and a fez on and gone over and tried to sell him exotic postcards. I'm all right with that. But
Yeah.
generally, Sydney Greenstreet, I'd say, would be the actor
Yeah.
in the linen suit.
Don't know his
Yeah,
work.
but it is crunchy. I wear linen suit for test matches.
Oh,
Seems to work with that.
Yeah.
good shout.
I don't mind a bit of crumpling,
Wow. Each to their own.
even when naked.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We're talking about Victoria Beckham this morning on Absolute Radio.
Mm.
And
She's
the
doing-
fashion advice that she was giving out in Central Park.
Doing a deal with Reebok.
She's not.
She is.
She isn't.
That's what it said. She's doing a deal with
Yeah.
Reebok. Is it Reebok?
Is she
Is it
really?
Reebok or Reebok?
I think it's
Yeah.
as in
Is it
R-E-E.
Nike or is it Nike?
Nike.
No.
I don't know my Adidas from my elbow.
No, we established, I think it was
Very good.
Nike because it's Athena
Yes.
Nike Temple.
Yeah.
What's the creature on...
Oh, there we go. I love a creature.
What's the creature on Slazenger?
Panther.
Oh.
Puma. No, that would
Can't
be
be
very
a puma.
complicated.
Can't be a puma.
No.
Some sort of panther?
I assumed
Bobcat?
I assumed that there was a
Bobcat.
Slazenger. Is there not a creature
There's
called
no
the Slazenger?
Slazenger. What, ripped to
Oh.
death by a
I
Slazenger?
feel like an absolute idiot now. All my life I've assumed that there was a Slazenger.
Ah.
A Slazenger cat.
You don't
Am I a
keep
fool?
Slazengers on a long Diamante collar.
Am I a real fool? Is that what's happened here?
Did you honestly think there's
Why
an
is it-
animal called
why
a
is
Slazenger?
everyone
I think
writing
he did
down
actually
Slazenger?
think that.
Everybody on the show has just scribbled down Slazenger as if thinking, well, that's ammo to get Alun with.
Yeah.
I'm thinking cheetah, possibly, to suggest speed and slinkiness.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think?
Wow.
What about
Yeah, but the
lynx?
coat suggests alooshness. Sitting around in the lounge with a whiskey.
What?
The coat of the cheetah.
Well, it's in silhouette, isn't it, on Slazenger?
Oh, I suppose
yeah.
so.
It's got quite a chunky, like a fat tail. You know the fat-tailed cats?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How dare you?
Anyway, if any, 12, 15, what is it? What's that critter on Slazenger?
Frank
I
said it
hope
was
somebody
referred to as
else-
a bobcat.
So,
Could be a
I hope
bobcat.
somebody else has thought that the
Lynx.
Slazenger is
It's
a
a pan-
creature.
A panther or a lynx?
Lynx would be another problem, though.
So
with-
many of them have already been nabbed, haven't they? Like
Yeah,
the
Lynx
creatures.
has gone. Puma, obviously.
No wonder
Yeah.
you end up with things like
Cheetah briefs. I
grapefruit.
seem to remember you could, cheetah briefs you could
I tell you what,
could buy.
all the big cats get snapped up.
Yeah.
There's none
It's not
left.
it could be a lioness.
Oh yeah, with a lion waist.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that she gave out the same advice as me. She said, you have to have a great coat. That's obvious. And I did an interview where it said, have you got any advice for upcoming comics? And I said, get a really cosy winter coat. And that way, if you arrive early at the gig, you can roll it up and use it as a pillow and have a nap in the dressing room.
That's
Me and Victoria Beckham, like peas in a pod, aren't we?
You see, this is where I sympathise with you comics. Because I think comedy and fashion is similar in that everyone thinks that they are able to do it. So everyone dispenses fashion advice in the same way that people will say whether something's funny or not.
Yes.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So I often have people coming up to me with comments, and I think, I've been at the coalface for 20 years, love.
You are a
Don't
minor,
tell
aren't
me.
you? Well, you should tell them that.
But unsolicited fashion advice.
I'd
from
like to
people.
know how you stop a narrow trouser from sitting on the pull tabs of your Chelsea boots.
It's a great question. 8, 12, 15.
I'd go for a double roll-up.
I always end up looking like Dr. McCoy. I just sit on the top in that thing.
Frank Skinner.
On Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Somewhat vindicated here. Alan Cochrane, 498, has texted, I too thought Slazenger was a type of cat. I'm with stupid. That's from Danny in Liverpool.
Well, you said it vindicated.
Yeah,
It's
somewhat vindicated.
Odd form of vindication.
I feel like a triumph now.
Meanwhile,
Thank you, Danny.
881, it's a panther. I look after their trademarks. That's Robin Redding.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, it makes you wonder why they haven't just called the brand Panther.
Yeah, Panther would have been fine.
Yeah, it's just the same as Slazenger, really, and then there would be less confusion
guess
from
there was
people
a-
like me and
There was
Danny
a
in
guy
Liverpool.
called Martin Slazenger
Right,
who started it.
Yeah.
That would be my theory.
I forget that you know so much about the...
But anyway, Victoria's with Reebok. Let's not have any confusion.
It's weird,
Yeah.
I thought David was with Adidas. That must cause some
I
tension.
don't think
at
you
dinner
have to
time.
necessarily. It's like, you don't have to take their name anymore.
Yeah.
You
You're
don't
right.
have to have the same sponsor.
You're
Yeah.
absolutely right. You make some very good points.
And also, does David now, when his Adidas thing, he's not still, it would have included football boots and proper sports shoes.
Yeah.
But now it'll be like just cashwear.
Yeah, what's it called? Glamorous
Lux.
leisure wear.
It's
Lux
called,
Sports.
nearly, darling, Sports Lux.
Sports
Lux.
locks, that's
Yeah.
Lovely
okay.
effort from both.
Thanks very much.
What did I call it? Glamorous leisure wear.
Yeah.
So it's Lux as in luxurious, is
Yeah,
it?
L-U-X-E,
Not-
thank you.
Not any reference to the Duchy of Luxembourg.
I don't think so, no.
Did I tell you when I flew to Venice and the bloke said, if you look out the window on the left, you'll see Luxembourg. And I sang past the Duchy on the left-hand side.
Of course you did.
And nobody got it.
Ah,
Oh, I wish I'd been on that
Within
flight.
48 hours, I was in Venice singing Who Put the Doge Out? Who let the Doge out? I don't know. What was
Yeah.
it? Let? Was it let?
Who let
Let.
the Doge? That was a lovely pun trip for you.
It
Yeah.
was. It was. It was a nightmarish holiday in other.
Was it?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes, I think you told me about that holiday.
Yes.
The pun
There was a
factor was
period
high.
I took, I think, 5 different women to Venice.
hold on.
And And
Can't let that go past, can we?
I split up with them all almost immediately afterwards. Something about Venice. The romance was too much. It's a great tester. So if you got any doubts about your relationship, get off to Venice and you'll find it'll all come clear.
Is this you giving out Victoria Beckham style advice?
Exactly,
That's your
yeah.
$2 worth.
Yes. Gondola love. If it's just gondola love, forget about it.
Frank Skinner Show on Absolute Radio. Back Saturday morning from 8. Tune in live for the full Frank experience.
Absolute Radio.
Have you got good advice that you give out, like Victoria Beckham? 'Cause,
I give
Got advice.
occasionally, if anyone asks me about running a team or management.
Oh, yeah.
So, sometimes I'm like on a project.
Yeah.
What?
You're
You know
kind
what
of a
I'm
pack
talking
leader
about?
kind of character.
Yeah, I suppose on a bit like not really on this, but on some shows.
Oh, no,
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I always say that if you are off with people and aggressive
Uh-huh.
and harassing people, you'd be lucky to get 70% out of them,
Right.
as far as effort's concerned. Whereas if you're nice and kind and
Yeah.
encouraging, you get about 40. And I found that to be true across
Right.
the board.
That's good. That's good.
Oh, dear.
Can we clip that bit of advice? Because I'm starting a business. So I
Yeah.
think that's really going to be
I
helpful. that.
honestly
He
think
gave me some lovely advice on book
Frank did.
writing this morning. Yeah, it was very
Oh, yeah.
useful. You honestly think what, darling?
that is correct. It's not even.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
that's good.
You know what?
Think.
I'm not even lying.
I ain't even lying.
Is that what they say? I'm not even lying?
Yeah,
When I
Yeah.
say they, I mean people who aren't me.
the youth. What about you, Al, on the advice front? You give me some advice sometimes.
Yeah, I'm good on advice, even though I think most advice is rubbish. But here's a genuinely good bit of advice: don't entirely fall out with a psycho, because it's sometimes good.
Too late, love.
It's sometimes good to know one. Like, you know, if you've got a character in your life that's a bit like Begbie off Trainspotting, don't entirely fall out with them, just in case a nutter moves into your street and you need to know a nutter.
Also,
That's mine. That's what I give out.
you wouldn't like them
Hold
when
on,
they're angry.
Let's just see if we can still say not.
Can we say sociopath? That's a different thing.
So we
It's a
can
different
say-
thing. That's
Yeah.
not a
Don't
scary.
fall out with them either.
Oh, I didn't know that loony bin's gone. It's so hard to keep up. I'll tell you what.
Whatever happened to?
Professor Green said to me, never trust anyone who's got more than 4 friends.
Oh, good.
Oh,
That is
okay, I'm not
good.
sure I agree with that, but interesting.
Well,
Yeah.
you meant friends, close friends.
Real friends, yeah.
Someone who claims to have too many close friends. You can only share with so many people.
I mean, you still can't argue. As advice goes, you can't argue with don't eat yellow snow. That's the best one that is ever around. Because there's not even like a banana-flavoured slushy that kind of proves the rule. There's no...
Oh, I don't know if it's that true.
I don't think there is.
I would say never underestimate the power of a strong brow.
Oh, that's...
That is good.
It frames the face. It's the
still-
frame of the
That
face.
is good.
I still think my favourite is you can spend your whole life trying to be popular, but the size of the crowd at your funeral will still be largely dictated by the weather.
Strong.
Okay.
We're all different. On this very show, when Holly Walsh was on, she said to me, "You don't get a 6-pack in the
gym.
In the gym, you
It's
get it
made
in the kitchen."
Yeah.
And I took that.
That was the...
Since then, you've done all your exercise in the kitchen, haven't
Yeah.
you?
I've picked up and I ran with it. No, what I've done is I've starved myself into a 6-pack. I don't do any
God.
exercise at all.
No.
I
believe you.
live on steam from broccoli. And it's much better. Starving is much nicer than
my
exercise.
Awful way to look at
Yes.
both food
No,
and
well,
exercise.
I'm not
And
saying
you can
this.
use the bulldog clip for all the excess skin as well at the back of you, which is nice.
What? I don't want to take it off me downstairs. It gets at my age, you can fall over it. Anyway, look, enough now. I apologise for my day nurse-influenced strangeness today, but thank you for listening. Those of you who bore with me, God bless you, and have a sausage roll. Thank you, and bring on the feathers.
You're listening to the Frank Skinner podcast from Absolute Radio. Want your Frank fix a little sooner? Listen live every Saturday from 8 a.m. on Absolute Radio. Across the UK on digital radio, mobile apps, and in London and the South East on 105.8 FM.
Absolute Radio.